You know, the whole shambles of the New York City Police Department, and of course that ridiculous visit last summer between Harry and Meghan, the former royals known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, really just keeps escalating. But now it appears, according to this particular media report, that they would be reviewed on a case-by-case basis as and when they decided to return back to that wonderful city that is New York. But what's the true story behind it? As ever, let me explain. Hi, nice to see you today, and as ever, thank you so much for joining me. We've covered this story in a lot of detail, as I've said, and what I find fascinating, I don't know about you, is the fact that they've yet to see that footage. You know, if it was that terrifying, why on earth is that footage not presented forward? Simply doesn't make sense. Now, as I said, there's this big story sort of building that the New York City Police Department would now be reviewing their return, you know, as and when they decide to return. Very gracious of them. It's a little bit like over here in the United Kingdom. Harry and Meghan don't know when they're going to be returning, but they simply want people on standby should, of course, they click their fingers and decide to return back over here and possibly stay in a private location or indeed a royal palace. You get the picture. What's interesting here, you see, is that this really opens a can of worms for the New York City Police Department. And in particular, when Mayor Adam went on television across the world and basically said he found it unfathomable that they could be in a car chase for 2 hours in Manhattan, almost hiding behind giggles. I mean, you know, people couldn't believe what he was having to address. But what is the true story behind this? Well, as ever, we reached out to the New York City Police Department. And when I say we, I mean I. And I've made good friends with those people now. Oh yes, they love us English. And thank you for watching to everybody out there in the New York City Police Department. I'm thrilled to have you on board. Very nice of you. Now, what's interesting here is they very tactfully told me this particular message, that, you know, they would review the situation, but basically what they're saying, and this has been very gracious. You know, that's the kindest thing I could say about this. They're just being gracious. What they're basically saying is that, you know, Harry and Meghan, when they return, as long as they present to the police department their plans on that night, they would make sure they would add adequate officers in place. This would be no different if this was, say, a film premiere in the heart of New York City, Madonna at an event, a record store signing. You're talking about a celebrity of that ilk. No special privileges, let me tell you. And they know they have to do this simply because every celebrity then coming into New York for a premiere, a party, a big event, a launch, whatever, could literally say to the police department, we need this. You provide this to Harry and Meghan. We want the same thing. So basically, as it goes, this is a kind of customary, we don't want to fall out with you, let's all be friends and let's draw a line under it. But as that source pointed out to me, really all of this was their own doing. They decided to switch cars. There was enough adequate protection around them at that particular point, as ever, we have to say allegedly. And of course, they decided to go out with the media and do what they wished to do. As we also pointed out, they had a kickback from their own photography company, Backgrid. So when you have those problems, you can understand why the New York City Police Department are merely just smiling, nodding and agreeing. But there will be no special privileges because if there is, everybody else will want the same. And we'll be there to watch you. Right, boys? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.